back to Jack's Does Homestuck Gaystuck edition. This time we are going to be talking about Dave. So when Dave starts out, it's kind of obvious there's something there about his sexuality. We have Rose calling out him, like, potentially being gay by, like, oh, well, you're not playing this game with me, so you must be gay, lol. But Dave kind of, like, protests, like, oh, no, look, I'm just busy, okay? Definitely not gay. And then in his conversation with Tavros, we have Tavros calling it out. It's like, hey, I'll talk to you again whenever you don't have all these bees in your bonnet about your human sexuality. And there's just, a couple other points like that as well. And so he starts out as this, like, definitely not gay, but we can tell that there's something there. And just how it goes on and develops is nice. One of the things I really like about Dave's arc is he's supposed to be this masculine dude. Like, it's a very specific sort of masculinity, but he's supposed to kind of encompass it. He's performing it in a certain way, but he is definitely trying to perform it. He's the cool guy, is basically what he's trying to be. And we definitely see that when we get towards the end, and he talks about kind of the society that he grew up in and the role that he was pushed to take on. So we have that. We have Rose calling him gay because he won't play a game with her, or because his dreams have, like, homoerotic subtext. And then we have his conversations with John, where he implies that John is attracted to him, and John says that he definitely is, and Dave just says thank you back. He wants to be super cool to John. He wants to maintain that image of masculinity, but, like, specifically for John and not anyone else. He will willingly admit to Rose that he does not like puppets, that he is getting very tired of puppets, but he maintains the facade that he loves puppets with John. And whenever he's like, yeah, I need to see what's up with John, he says, I love him. Like, he straight up says, I love him. And I don't know if the intention was to be, like, over the top about it in a funny way, or to show that he really does care about his friends, but he just straight up says he loves John, and Rose just says, I know. And going back to the persona that he wants John to specifically see is Terezi knows that when it comes to his embarrassing way of entering the game, it's only John he cares about not knowing about that. And Terezi promises not to tell John about that. And it's just, and Terezi references that he talks about John a lot. Got to beat John, got to keep up with John. John did this, and I got to do that too. But more than that, he just really cares about John as a friend. John gave him his sunglasses, and when he thought that they had cracked, he was super upset about that. Whenever Grimbark Jade comes and can smell that John had just been there, the most believable excuse he could come up with is that he sprayed John smelling perfume around him. Like, that's what he goes with to tell a semi-believable lie. And he just really loves John so much. And even towards the end, whenever John admits that he gets annoyed by people sometimes, Dave worries that it's him. Like, are you annoyed by me? And he's assured that, no, I mean, sometimes, but not really. And just kind of reassures Dave. And it's really nice just seeing how much he genuinely cares about John and how much he loves John. And then we started getting into him with Karkat. Like, even before we have him on the Meteor during that second run through of those 3 years, it's pretty obvious that there's being comparisons made there, that there's being hinting at a future relationship. Terezi points this out a couple of times by saying how alike they are, kind of in kind of a smartassy and kind of stubborn way. Blunt and literal-minded is some other term she uses, and it's just, really reminds me of, I mentioned this in the episode where this came up as well, but it really reminds me of a post I saw on Tumblr where it's like, if you change out a lot of Dave and Karkat's dialogues as to which one's capitalized or not, it's hard to tell the difference. And then we have Karkat showing how much he knows Dave already, despite not really focusing on Dave that much as a human to troll. Whenever he's luring Dave to the memo that he wants to talk about, hey, be careful with these trolls hitting on you, like, don't get into it. He lures him in with shitty clip art, and like Karkat just knows that's what will get Dave. And Dave, I mean, it's ironically, but he says Karkat's fucking incredible. Like, he's cracking up at Karkat. Surely it's at Karkat's expense at that point in time. But, I mean, there's just such a connection between Dave and Karkat before the whole, the 3-year period where they get together. The reset, or whatever it is we call it in the fandom. And, even when, Karkat's just talking to Dave, like, during the first run-through on the Meteor, Karkat's talking about how he's a fan of someone that Dave doesn't like, and it's like, you're just doing this to piss me off. Like, he's constantly pointing out all these connections that they have, and it kind of falls into some Black Rom stuff for a bit, but, like, there's literally a point where Dave draws Karkat riding a dick. Like, he literally just draws that. And really, there's just so much between Dave and Karkat, even in the first run-through, where he takes on some of his habits and stuff like that. He just spends so much time with Karkat. He just really has such a fun time with Karkat, and I just love how their relationship develops, and yeah. And like Vriska says, it's adorable, whatever quadrant they wound up in, which I like. I don't know if it's just fandom interpretation or kind of how it is, that they're kind of in multi-quadrants. But what it really comes down to is whenever Dave does figure out that he likes Karkat, and just kind of being around the trolls in general, he has this sort of realization about what's going on with the society he was raised in, and he tries to explain to John how, masculinity is fake and stupid, and like, the roles that they were trying to emulate growing up don't actually mean anything, especially now that their planet's gone. It didn't mean anything before, but especially now, the society they're raised in no longer exists. And, they know trolls, someone from a completely different culture, to just show how little those roles meant. And he's trying to explain to John, and John kind of picks up what he's putting down, but not what he's literally putting down, and instead just sees the fact that it's like, oh, so you're gay now, basically. Which is what Dave is kind of saying, but also he's just trying to make it where John understands too, and where John doesn't have to be trapped by, like, societal expectations that, for a society that no longer exists. And kind of help him grow up and grow out of that, and, just kind of go on to some self-discovery. And I just really like Dave kind of recognizing that. And I also like the conversation between Dave and Dirk, where Dave realizes Dirk also likes guys, and it kind of makes him question and wonder what's going on with that. And then, like, he straight up asks him, he's like, well, how'd you come out to your friends? Because that's something that he's gonna have to come across, because he felt he had something with Jade. He has always been this sort of cool guy, like I was saying earlier, this sort of persona of masculinity, that now it's different and it's changed, and he's just figuring out how to work around it and how to tell the people that he cares about that, like, yeah, hey, Jade and John, I like boys now. And yeah, I really wish I got that conversation with Dirk and Dave about how Dirk did come out and sort of how that conversation went down. But hey, we get to have our own headcanons now that we don't actually get it. And I really hope Dave helps John come to realize how gay he is. I know I said that in the last episode, but just... Dave loves John so much. Even if he's with Karkat now, he still really loves John. And he really cares about John. And he's really trying to get John to break out of his assigned role as not being homosexual. And just the evolution of Dave from just like stereotypical ironic cool guy to still kind of an ironic cool guy but who's also into dudes, and just like performing certain aspects of masculinity to saying fuck it, it's all fake and doesn't matter. It's wonderful, and I love Dave so much, and I love his arc so much, and I feel like I'm not explaining it as well as I could, but I really just love Dave, and I love talking about Dave. But, so that's basically what we have for Dave, and his I'm really glad with, because we do actually see him, unlike with John, who we don't get that actual gay arc with, we just get, like, the hints at it. With Dave, we actually do, is, like, he is into dudes at the end. Like, we do see that he's in a canonical gay relationship at the end of Homestuck. So, anyway, I'm not quite sure what character I'm going to do next. The only one I really had in mind to do was Dirk after this. I was thinking about doing Rose, but Rose is a more open and shut case. She didn't really have the same struggles or anything, or offer the same sort of commentary, or maybe I'm just too limited to see it. But I might try to do an episode on Rose and see what happens. Let me know if there's any characters or ships you want me to cover, and I'll definitely talk about that. Yeah, so I have a website now, jaxdoeshomestuck.com. I went ahead and bought the domain, so that was kind of an impulsive thing. And I also have a Discord. Check out my website or my Twitter for that link. And yeah, I just have a lot of things going on that you can check out on either of those. And let me know if you have any ideas of what to do next. If you want me to do more videos, if you want me to do more transcripts, everything you want to do. I do also have my Patreon back up. That is patreon.com/sociallyanxiousdragon. Again, all these links are on my website and on my Twitter, @SADragonTweets. So check that out. And please like, subscribe, share, and thank you so much for listening and supporting me this far. And hopefully the next venture, which I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, and I might start doing that here pretty soon and kind of getting that planned out. But I'll let you know whenever I get it figured out, for sure. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the next thing that I have going on. But yeah, so next week, again, is kind of up in the air. I don't know if I'll do a Rose episode or if I'm just going to jump straight to Dirk, because I just love the Strider so much. But yeah, look forward to that. Thanks.